Hello Internet, welcome to the channel, and today I will show you one small project using Raspberry Pi and 2.8 inches displays, 24 hours variation of the temperature in your environment, and then it's very simple, you will see.
Okay, let's continue with the project in Raspberry Pi to plot in 24 hours using the small screen display 2.8 inches. And we will use Linux, and for sure our code is made in Python. To be clear, is Python 3 using a sensor temperature DHT22 to capture the sensor in your environment. And basically we are plotting this one every minute, every 60 seconds. We will get a new dot in the graph, in the plot. Okay, and that we are using is a library from Python. This is Matplotlib. Is very well known in using Python. And in the end, it's not so complicated to make this small plot. I will show you how to do it, and we are going through it. But the main thing is, the idea is to keep running days by days, week by week, month, or even years. For now, until now, I am testing this one is running almost 1 month with no problem. And then the idea is, if you are keeping running a lot of time, a long time, that will be accumulating RAM memory, and somehow that will be collapsed. There will be segmentation fault or something like that in Linux. And then the implementation that I did is every 24 hours. The process is killed, the application is down for 30 seconds, and then start again, taking all the plots previous before that it was stored in one file, and then in the end you will have continuously your plotting of temperature variation in the display, which means every 24 hours 30 seconds of 24 hours will be the plot will be unavailable.
All of the information that I described here and we will check in this tutorial is available in my repository in GitHub. Just check the link in the video description. Then the first thing to do is install the image of the Raspberry Pi. And I have already installed it in my computer, but if you need it, you need to go to raspberrypi.com software, download the application, and in this case I will install the full version of Raspberry Pi. And then you need to choose your SD memory card and just click in write. That will take a little longer. Then when this is finished, you are ready to just remove your micro SD from your computer and place in the hardware in the Raspberry Pi. Now let's talk about the temperature sensor. The temperature sensor has 3 pin connections, and the first one, the red one, is the VDD, which is 5 volts. The middle one is the green, is the data output in serial communication. In the black one is the reference 0 volts. Then you need to connect to the pin 2, pin 6, and pin 22 like is showing the picture. Then after you did the 3 connections, we are ready to power up the Raspberry Pi. Just place your micro SD memory in the slot and connect your mouse, your keyboard and your monitor, and just power it up. Then the first time you turn on your Raspberry Pi, you will see something like that. Then when the system is up, this is the screen that you will see. In my case, I need to make the configuration of the keyboard and mouse that I have in Bluetooth. The basic configuration is very simple. We need to set it up, the country, the language, and the time zone. Also, that will reflect in your hour. Raspberry Pi gives you the option to place a password, but in my case I will just jump it. The next setting is the Wi-Fi. This is very important. We need the internet to install some particular package. Then you need to connect to your Wi-Fi. This is just my personal preference, and Raspberry Pi gives you the option to add the monitor of the temperature of the microprocessor and also the CPU use in percentage. Then we can place in the bar. Now you can check these parameters in the right top corner. And now we need to open the terminal, is in the top left corner. And we will use the terminal to install and make some upgrade and installing some package for Python 3. The first thing we need to do is update the software. Then type sudo apt update. You always have the chance to increase the size of the font. You just go to the tab edit and increase the size from the number 10 to 13, for example. Now we need to install the parallel package. Then you need to type sudo apt install parallel. Now we need to install the library for the temperature sensor. Then in the terminal you need to type sudo pipe3 install adafruit DHT. Now we need to install the screensaver, which is very important, otherwise the screen will be turned off every 5 minutes. Now when installation is done, just go to the screensaver preference and disable it. Then in this section we will increase the swap file because by default is 100 megabytes, and we will increase on 1 giga. And the reason is because sometimes the system needs more memory, and since we want to run this for a long period, and it's better to increase this size, otherwise this will give us a segmentation fault. Then in the terminal we need to type sudo dphys dash swap file space swap off. Now we need to modify the file, and then let's use the Nano editor, and let's go for the ATC folder dphys swap file. Then it's very easy to find the variable, the conf swap size, which is 100. Then just increase 1024. And save the file, pressing Ctrl X and Y to confirm. We need to run the setup command for the swap file. Now use the swap command to activate it, and then just reboot the system, typing reboot. Now let's check the size of the swap file, and this should be 1024 megas. You just go to the terminal and type htop. After all of the setting that we did,
we are ready to plot the temperature sensor in the big screen. Then just download the folder mcdpi and all the files from the code section in the GitHub repository that you are following, and keep the same configuration, the same organization of the files also. I think the folder mcdpi is zipped, and just unzip it and keep it there normal. Create a folder in the Raspberry Pi and place all of these in this folder, call it Raspberry. Then when you have all the files in the system Raspberry Pi, and then just go to the terminal and type cd Raspberry Pi, because you need to be inside of this folder, and then just type the right command, this sudo bash temp.sh. Now for the first time you are watching your plots in 24 hours, but in this case, since there is no previous value recorded, it's just plotting one line in the actual temperature, which in this case is 24.3, but if you see the X scale is 24 hours, that is showing you since 24 hours before, okay? And then the thing is, you left there for 20 minutes, and that will be start increasing recording minutes with minutes and plotting the new values for you. Also in this case, you can check the scale of the temperature is from 15 degrees Celsius to 35, but you are able to change it in the code. Then if you have, for example, more than 40 degrees, then you are able to set the max value there. You can check the functionality of the circuit in the top right corner, because there is a spike every time the one value is stored and plotted in the graph. Now let's check very quick the memory consumption. Just go to the terminal, open the new terminal, and type htop. And now you can see, instead of 100 mega that was the value by default, we increased to 1 giga, which is 1024 megas, and now all is working fine. After verifying the circuit is working using the regular monitor, it's time to change to the small display, the 2.8, but when we are changing, everything will be changed, right? Because it is a small screen. Then we need to change the resolution also of the terminal. Then go to try to increase the font of the terminal. In this case, I am increasing to 16 and just place like that. This is one example what happened after 24 hours. If you check the terminal is plotting and then keep sleeping for 24 hours. After 24 hours is killing all this process and start the system again.
Now it's time to install the small display 2 inches, and then let's continue in the terminal. Let's go to the folder Raspberry Pi, and then we need to run the command sudo bash set underscore screen.sh. It's okay to observe some kind of warnings and think kind of cannot create this directory. It's okay. Now we need to do it is modify a particular file that is a config.txt. Change to the boot folder and type sudo nano config.txt. Nano is an editor in Linux. Then we need to modify, just comment some particular 4 lines, and we need to look for particular sentences like display auto detection equal to 1. Now just place the hashtag symbol at the beginning of the line. Also in DT overlays, max frame, and disable the overscan. That is the only modification that we have so far. Then you need to save the file and exit from Nano. If you want to save it, just Ctrl O and Y to confirm, and to exit it's just Ctrl X. Finally, just type reboot and your system will be boot up in your small display. Then the first time when you power up in the small screen display, that will take a couple of minutes. That is, I speed up the video. After finish the loading, we need to go to the terminal and go to the folder Raspberry Pi, and then type cd raspberry, and then we need to run our command that like sudo bash temp.sh, and the plots will be appear soon. And finally we get it. We are watching the upload stored in the previous 24 hours, and there is no problem if you are rebooting, if you restart again, because it hasn't passed too much time to lose these values stored previously. And then if you just for 1 hour you stop, just to turn off the system and keep in 1 hour, and you turn it on after 1 hour, you are able to watch even the 23 hours previous value recorded on that. I have this project running with no interruptions more than 3 months, and it's running okay, and then it's a good project to just keep it there and running for a long period without any issues after several modifications that I did, like I show you today. Remember, from now your Linux system will use this small screen, 2.8 inches, and every time that you are turning on is using this small screen. It's not the big screen anymore. If you wanna get back to the big screen, you need to uninstall the small screen, which is step by step. There is the instructions to uninstall this small screen in the repo that I showed you before. Then follow with that line, and it's just simple comment a couple of lines in one particular file, and you will get back your big screen again. If you are facing problems, just let me know in the comment below, and good luck with the project. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.